Alrighty. How's everyone doing? Hope the week's gone well for everyone. Unfortunately, I haven't quite finished the base of my new horns. It turns out there's more steps to it than I thought, because obviously I need to fill the mold with encapsulator, which actually, I actually need to do multiple layers. Apparently it's easier if you have like an airbrush, but obviously I don't, so I basically had to dilute the solution with a bit of rubbing alcohol and then brush it in. And that's basically like doing latex, so the layers have to dry. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get that done this evening. But yeah, let's get to the game. Let's put that webcam back on. There we go. So yep, story so far. We need to prove, well, probably not like a billionaire because it's the Victorian era, but like a really rich guy, innocent of murder, which he appears to have committed in a locked room. For some reason, there's a giant scale with fire on it, and the fire has weight, which doesn't make sense at all. But yep, he's just been called back to the stand. So, let's see how this goes. To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defence. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why do you conceal that fact from the police? Ellipses nuts, my lord. But yet no, it is not my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. Oh yeah, and the prosecutor's a vampire. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or do I keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. Ellipses nuts. The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true? Eh? And it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You. What? Okay, so the other passenger was a child. They couldn't have stabbed anyone. Wait, no, because the witness said it looked like the stab was short, so maybe they did. No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, Sir I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. Yeah, oh yeah, he's clearly Irish-coded, but I'm trying to go for a northern accent here. I do be having a good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom, just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Hey, Nerlis, you're not that late. You mean hi? Did you miss anything? I mean, attendance isn't mandatory, but no, not really. I've only been sort of going through dialogue for like 5 minutes. Where, oh yeah, so the, wealthy Victorian guy we're defending has just revealed there was a third passenger, but she was apparently a child, so he just didn't tell anyone.
You don't know?
Eh, well, the wee pig just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
Eh?
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak. Listen to the proceedings.
What?
Bang.
Ah, smoke, fire.
Look, someone's trying to get away. It's no use. I can't see all through all the smoke.
What's going on?
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
Nellis, a kid, so probably not a young woman wearing an absurd hat with a giant swan on it. Probably not. But you never know. Wouldn't it be funny if it turned out she was responsible for everything so far? Like she somehow convinced the cat to murder the guy from the opening level and so on and so forth. Although, presumably she's going to show up again. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos, as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Okay, maybe I could have gone this far on Monday. Oh well. Well, guess I'm saving again. Save early, save often. Oh, I guess it. That's what it's called, the runaway room.
"18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber."
What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruto, I managed to find out what happened.
Miss Suzasso?
I'm told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But you could have done something like that.
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of about 15, I hear.
Oh,
Sorry, Naruhodo, not Naruto. I remember the age. Honest. Sorry, honest.
A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what's she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself.
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers in that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
But now it seems that there are in fact 5 passengers.
Which means that the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defence kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Don't you mean constable? Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. Well, Will's no seen enough, Miss Susato. Yeah.
February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
No, listen, why is Susato taking notes in her rule book, even though it's got if it's got empty pages, it's not going to have that many? I don't know, maybe it's a... Okay, this kid's got some style. I mean, she could be the Swan Lady in a different outfit, with her hair tied back and... There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Yeah, maybe I should try a sort of a low updo with a hat. That would look kind of cool.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks.
My lord.
I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which failed proceedings earlier.
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army.
Notice, her hat's got eyes on it. Adorable. Okay, P with that covers just about covers your eyes, and it's got googly eyes on it. I need to make that. Yeah, maybe before I make my jacket, I'll get a bit of extra fabric and sew myself a hat out of the same fabric.
Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name?
It's Erin, thanks for asking.
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught.
Okay, I think throwing a smoke grenade like that would be a dead giveaway, but that's just me.
And now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl?
Ellipses nuts.
Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom?
No less. Mr. McManus, McGilded, MacDonald, McGriddle. Builder of the McMangus, McGilded, Milduck, MacDonald, McGriddle. Fiddle? Yeah, I was trying to do a Dimsdale Dimmadome joke. It's not the kind of thing you can make up on the spot. I mean, I'm sure some people can, but... Ellipses nuts.
What is the meaning of this deplorable behaviour?
Ellipse. Ease. Nuts.
If I may, my lord? Yes, Mr. McGilded?
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You'll explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Ellipses nuts.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Notice the pose and hat are starting to give JoJo vibes now. Yeah, I mean, that would work pretty good as like an alternate look for Jolene. I think that's the JoJo season. Stone Ocean. Which, to be fair, is the one I know the best. Okay, the young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat on the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. I suppose, to be fair, it could be Scottish coded, but I'm not even going to try a Scottish accent either. He'll kill me. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me.
Then I turned up to find where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all caught up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defence counsel said. This lass was the fifth passenger, my lord. I love that the guy's just openly flipping his knife in court. No less, the hat is more Jotaro, but it could be a cool old skin for Jolene. Style of the thing, semi-cosplaying as her dad, and why not? Yeah, I kind of like, I know Jolene's whole thing is she's kind of estranged from Jotaro, but I kind of like the idea that maybe, you know, in an alternative timeline where she got on with her dad, she just, like, straight up inherited the hat. Very well. The defence may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Ellipses nuts. I wonder if he's actually a vampire.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. Notice, did British people say style of thing? Gaspard says it a lot. You kind of picked it up from that. I don't know. Style of thing. Could be more of a southern thing. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Okay, and that's when I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from the time to time as well. Ellipses nuts. Okay, Prostitute's planning something.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream. Hey, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. You think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me, I opened my eyes. And there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. He says it in a so-to-speak kind of context, almost compulsively, at the end of sentences. Yeah, in that case, no, I don't think it's a really particularly common phrase here. Definitely the kind of thing you'd give a character. When you say Gaspo, do you mean the character from Discworld? The talking dog? You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Oh, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume? Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat from across me. Okay, cool. Yep, Gaspo the talking dog. You sat him up, the victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe.
Hey, Lord Van Ziegs, now why would that be? You wait to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Yeah, fantastic character. I think my favourite sort of moment near the end of is when he sort of gives Captain Carrot a call out near the end of must have been Men at Arms, when he and Angua had the argument.
Well now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is as thankful for the help I offer them. Some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid mixing myself into a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had in mind to find out what the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores?
Like, I love how it's not been completely declared a mistrial after it turned out a member of the jury was literally owes this guy money. Nolas, main character, what'd I step on? Gaspode, don't worry, it was just a skull. Main character, Hughes. Gaspode, he didn't say. Oh, okay. Moving Pictures is one of the sort of standalone Discard novels I haven't really read yet. Really should go back and read them all. I mostly just sort of read the ones that had series. So I started with the Watch novels, then I read the Windswind and the Wizards. I think my favourite's actually the Moist von Lipwig ones, although those are the more recent ones, so maybe that's a bit controversial. Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yeah, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victims collapsing. Then it's okay. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. And as far as I could see, that's it. That is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. Oh hi, I'm right here. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under my backside. Oh, okay. Because when we looked at the carriage earlier, there was actually a compartment under the seat, so this makes sense. Good gracious. And your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhode, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. Okay, let's see if the dialogue changes then. Nolis, it's a good one. You like the main from it? Yeah, if I recall correctly, he's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger parody. Well, basically he's super lazy, but pretty intelligent. Hey, Icky, it Brie in T form. Exactly. Still haven't got my new horns finished yet, but I'm pretty happy with the ones I've got, so hey. How's Icky doing? Nellis, you also really like Small Gods, even though it doesn't have any regulars in it, not counting Death. Icky is good. How be I? I'm also good. On day 3 of my 2 weeks off work. Well, as I said, I haven't quite finished the horn bases, but I've at least put down the encapsulator solution into the mould. Because basically, when you make a silicone sort of prosthetic, you sort of have it in a layer of encapsulator, which is like a very thin sort of rubbery substance. and then you actually pour the silicone into that, and then paint it over the back again, and that sort of makes it easier to stick down. Oh, you've been playing Stanley Parable Deluxe. How's that gone? Yep, I mean, obviously, Pixel's got me into watching The Outhouse, and like I just started the second season, and the sort of like the villain kind of reminds me of the narrator. I'm bad with names, but the actor who does his voice is sort of like a semi-well-known Welsh actor, and he just does an absolutely perfect sort of ominous, calm voice. Icky, the Stanford Parabola was, unsurprisingly, very meta and funny. No, Liz, you never picked up the Schwarzenegger bit. Oh yeah, it was mostly just that he was implied to have got really ripped because he felt like it was easier to do things if you were in shape. Because like obviously his whole thing was being, and obviously he was an actor with a slight accent. But obviously his thing was basically incredibly lazy, but very dedicated to being lazy. Hence his whole thing of maintaining exactly the right score to not graduate but not get kicked out of university. Hey Nick, how's it going? A good breathing to you? Okay, you didn't stream last night though, you were tired. You tried to slay the spy for the first time instead, and frankly it's a miracle you made it to work at all. Yeah, that's why I don't really play roguelikes that much. Like, I'll just get so addicted I don't do anything else. Nick, you're good. Caught up in a lot of sleep from yesterday, which was good. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, because you were really tired when you were doing your Nick attempts yesterday. I hope the appointment went well. I think you were in the chat a bit while Infisser and I was streaming last night. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's rather hard when you sit on it. Only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentleman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? You said it. But at least right now they have pockets. But yeah, congrats on getting their sleep, Nick. Oh yeah, so if I check the handle... This seat has a handle, it seems. Open we go. Wait, wasn't there stuff in there before? This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on why it is. Wait a minute, there wasn't any blood on the floor before either. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this bloodstain's so obvious. Yeah, there definitely wasn't all this stuff in here the last time I checked the place, so I think when someone threw that smoke bomb, it's been altered. Because on Monday's stream when I was looking around this carriage, there was stuff under the seat, and this bloodstain definitely wasn't here. And yet, Van Zeeks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Yeah, exactly, no, unless someone switched... doggone switcherooed the entire car. Oh yeah. So, funny story, yesterday I accidentally, while I was streaming Baldur's Gate with Empress, in the character creator I accidentally switched off clothes. So when I uploaded the video to YouTube, I had to go back and blur, like, half a second out. So that was fun. And that's what I found her.
There was a child in there all curled up into a ball, hiding a wee self away.
Hold it!
And you say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. Yeah, so so everyone knows, this character's clearly supposed to be Irish, but I can't do an Irish accent. Namely because Pixel and Al will kill me. So I'm just sort of giving him a northern accent. Hey, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When her eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overreacting this. Nick, you won't tell them? You will, you do it immediately. Trying to take the heat off yourself, Nick. Joke's on you. They can just kill me on the way. And inevitably there'll be a drawn-out fight where they'll just draw me onto their team. Still and all, I pulled out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wow with her. The seat opposite. That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman here. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Nick, you're casting on that being too much effort. Dramatic tension is never too much effort, Nick. You'll be taken down by the power of friendship. Well, I'm sure I mentioned. A gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGill did. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. I just can't get over how much this guy looks like the Penguin. It's certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature. And readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course. With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realised something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Ellipses nuts. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Wait. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? No less another vampire? This girl here, a petty thief? Nick, Lestrade is a criminal. Interesting twist. This is really sort of mixing it up. Like, the Dr. Watson actually died in the first case. I suppose it might turn out she's like an undercover cop or something, but you never know. Order! Order! No less, it could be Lestrade from Les Miserables. True. They could mix and match literary stuff. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Ellipses. Nuts. Oh, you meant you're thinking of Valjean, no less. Yeah, I mean, my parents are huge fans of Les Miserables, but for all I know, there was a character called Lestrade in it. The fact that he's still using the Game Boy Advance sound effect for the gavel makes you think it's an electronic kid's toy with a speaker. Miss Lestrade, you'll answer the question. There? Where? Okay. She has a smoke grenade launcher. I love it. How dare you? What is the meaning of this?
Okay, I like this kid. Like, it's been established that's the military grenade launcher, so it's entirely possible she's actually a cop.
Ah? The girl? She's gone.
Open your eyes. I'm over here.
Good gracious, how?
What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dippy, you say? Slips haven't got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gen. Go on, that's what's in your heads, isn't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... You know who this reminds me of? Pixel's Guild of Icons Adventures character, Capulet. Look, now's it for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. And apparently that grenade launcher. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs.
Oh, this? Oh yeah, it was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink the best.
Do not wave that thing around in my direction again. So, you admit you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Tis alright, this. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Okay, yep, definitely Irish.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we'll now hear your testimony if you please.
Oh yeah, Lestrade was like the cop who was friends with Sherlock Holmes, wasn't he? As Nick said, oh yeah, Nick's literally saying in the chat, Lestrade is the Commissioner Gordon in the Sherlock stories.
You'll tell the court exactly what happened on the omnibus on the night in question.
I mean, I think it goes without saying, but I like this kid. Right, if I have to. Sadly, I can't do a Cockney accent either. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses. Just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. Notice? You mean, yeah, she's a rogue? Exactly. I'll tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. There's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And then the scream just came out. It's because of that. The swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Okay, so, fun fact. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the film Evolution. It's just like a sort of, maybe sort of mildly horror comedy, but mostly just comedy. Science fiction comedy. About a sort of alien life form that quickly evolves. Well, my family saw it in the cinema. And there's this scene where a guy who's cleaning a a swimming pool, checks the some sort of tank in the bag, and this sort of fish just jump scares him, and that actually made me scream out loud. And apparently everyone assumed it was my mum who screamed. So yeah, early validation, I guess.
Yeah, yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you'd let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simply itself, my lord.
You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I know that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that night. And the cubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Oh yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature.
Like, we literally saw this before the smoke bomb went off, and it had stuff in there. Hey, but of course, the wheel ass was stuck in there, because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Oh!
So you see, that's why I let the last vault. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. Well, I couldn't live with myself if her young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realised your action would result in your own innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord. Not at all. Okay. I knew in my own heart I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt for my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. Oh my goodness.
What a perfect gentleman. My lord. This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Okay. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clear at the truth every time. Yep, I guess he's been declared innocent. But now we're going to have to defend the girl.
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty?
Like, literally, this is the kind of style I wish I had as a kid. Just like the tomboyish sort of hat and the messenger bag. Mr. Neruhode, this, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious.
We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Well then.
If the sight of my unhealed Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one mental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day.
Emotion?
The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police.
Okay, they've got photos to prove it was tampered with.
Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings.
Okay, wow. Yep. Like in the previous Ace Attorney, they just wouldn't have opened the compartment, but I was literally able to open it. That's pretty neat.
It's noted in black and white here in the police report.
Good lord.
The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGildy's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What?
Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly be affected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, The compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend. Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition under the seat of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry. Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by a desperate Lord Van Zykes. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? Okay, I'm gonna save just in case. Okay, so I knew for a fact I looked, so... I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my case as a counsel for the defense, but as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Hey, be whist. What are you saying now, you daft door? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend a man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Because it's the truth, you idiot. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand, but it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and as honestly as possible. Interesting. 'Tisn't altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. A fella's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubby hole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Wow, I'm right here. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest to now admit you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. No less. Also, this is far more likely the car the murder actually happened in. What if the bloodstains in there that weren't there before? Okay, so maybe it's going to be a twist that they put a fake cart in there, and then someone switched it out with the real one. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo was not irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Alpha, Blamontia's sake. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking wretch are always stinkers. Nothing but a coward to the loss of them. Okay, maybe he's a knife seller. What? Oh no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. The jury really easily, Quite so. I must concur here. Yep. Exactly. Now let's back and forth, back and forth. This is what it means to be a centrist. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time will be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defence, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Well, he's no rumpole of the Bailey. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses. Just like always.
Hold it!
So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a jury to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 pen passages at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And one little scapegoat riding for free. Sorry, scapegrace riding for free.
The red conk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slipped in the carriage and got myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment full of equipment for the coach. No.
Clipsies and nuts. Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. Okay, let's just double check the carriage again. Is there anything in the corner? There is not. Notice, shut up, juror number 4. You're just following the other jurors, the blind are leading the blind. Notice, yeah, the lady with the typewriter. I guess she's supposed to be a secretary. Did they have typewriters in Victorian times?
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all the stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I could tell you.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
It was a right old waste of time. Got nothing to show for my troubles that night.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm by the owner in the God permit, at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit?
Oh yeah, well that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. Okay, yes, you speak in thieves' cant. Point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you came out of your hiding place and get away. Sorry, come out of your hiding place and get away. Nullis, maybe Lestrade means she chucked it outside by a wall corner, not in the carriage. Yeah, I think the drivers would notice if they kept losing all their equipment. That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on my seat from the start. Oh yeah, a cove means a guy. I know that from writing Tassel's dialogue in Nordmark. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right, mister. To be sure, That's as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a shard now, do you? So this Mr. Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitched in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Wait, so why did she scream? No, Jot. Most days I push up the cushion with my head and look out the crack. And they can have a bitches at who's I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat to get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. It's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice. Why don't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanour. No less the bang noise that no one else said anything about scared her. Okay, interesting. Then after a while I heard this loud bang, nearly jumped out my skin I did, and the scream just came out.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of something falling to the floor? And what I do have to say that is a very distinctive thumping noise. Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yeah? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood up in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up. The bloke that had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGildy's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. Wait, what? It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGildy discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. How scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his gut. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both my hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood? That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe he talked with Mr. McGildy for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, didn't want no one to see my face, so I didn't look up. And the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, get back under the seat, I'll see that you can get away later. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yeah. It's clear they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure it would clinch the verdict we want. Yeah, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Okay. What evidence have we got to contradict then? So what have we got? Okay, yep, he bled to death. Wait a minute, is that coin she's flipping about one of his buttons? Okay. Don't think there was anything we hadn't really seen on the knife, but you never know. Okay. Nothing, okay, it probably doesn't have an unscrewable pommel, so you can throw it at someone and end them rightly, as the meme goes. Yeah, already done that one. Okay, let's have another look around the carriage. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Bloody dear. Okay, I've already seen this one. Same old Phoenix Wright omnibus. Okay, let's have a look at the inside again. Wait, I know. Maybe if I... Oh, that's supposed for the Great Expedition. Okay, that's still the same. Okay, back in we go. Let's take another look at the storage cabin. Okay, he's saying something that doesn't seem right, but what? We're gonna look at the blood stain. Okay, stab once. Where is the contradiction then? Okay, maybe it's the claim she can't see anything in there. Okay, if I have a look, is there any sign there's light in there? Nope. Okay. Yep, nothing new there. I literally would have thought finding out one of the witnesses owed the defendant money would just be an instant mistrial. Wait a minute. Is that the same poster? That looks close enough. Yeah, exactly, Nerlis. It definitely looks like it's a different carriage, but that would be skipping ahead. So what do I need to find here, then? Okay, just skip through the dialogue to see if there's any...
Excuse me.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh well. Miss Lestrade. Ellipses nuts. Did something spring to mind with that? No, it seems not. Forget I asked. Note to self. Rogue with a grenade launcher.
Hold it.
Okay, if I just keep pressing them to make sure I didn't miss a exclamation mark.
Hold it.
Interesting. She's saying the seats aren't as nice, but he's saying they're the best ones.
Well, no.
Aha!
Excuse me.
Is something wrong with Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologise. Was there something the matter, Council? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yep, I'm sure we can all sympathise. I'm still scared of the dark now. Yeah, I think more people are nyxophobic than we all admit. Hey, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the dark seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. I mean, I suppose to be fair, it's probably more a fear of sensory deprivation. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? No, let's dream of a little bigger, darling. Etc. Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world of Miss Foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us advice on a new clue. Yeah. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important part, means I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind, Council. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. Okay, but what does that contradict? Okay, let's try pressing her. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time? Since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swirl getting on, I got my head down so you didn't notice me. And Mr. McGildy sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, well, you hadn't been either, eh? What a mug. So then, all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Feel like we're onto something. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Bangs Zeeks realised it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGill snoring. But think, Rhinosuke, think. There's something else she should have heard. What should she have heard? What should she have heard? Oh wait, she didn't hear the victim scream, did she? Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate on a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not fail to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice-fired Mason?
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Okay, him getting on. Same difference. You know, still right? Ish.
Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. Got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGill did. That was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time? Did I not just say as much? I wasn't travelling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onwards journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all?
Nah, never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for this swell to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. We all know the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Von Zeeks? Yes, he knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem the words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colourful statements.
Icky. When will they bear pigs? Best outtake ever. Well, more like behind the scenes thing, but yeah.
Are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more.
Rebel.
He's dead right.
How could the victim possibly have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Oh, here we go. Oh dear. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
And neither can I.
Oh dear. Mr. Foreman?
I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Icky. Granny will hunt this one down for sport tonight.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me.
Oh dear, he's acting smug.
Yes, very refreshing.
What you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Adam man? This is carnage. It's perfect. Seriously, why is he allowed in the courtroom with the knife? Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGill's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in the service know we must accept hard truths. Oh dear.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on the whole case.
What are you saying?
Counsel? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. Well, sorry, but I prorogue everything.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently,
The carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet, the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty's feast words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage.
Okay, here we go. He was in there already. There's another entrance. He was put there after he died. Okay, if he was put there after he died, he'd still had to have had a way in there. Okay, he must have been in there already. No, Liz, poor Rogue's not here, Mr. Claus. We couldn't get him. He was in there already. Clearly, he was in there already from beforehand.
Objection.
Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that clearly in your last sentence?
Well said, Lord Van Zieks. The clearly is troubling me also.
No, that's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been in the carriage from beforehand.
Then answer me this. By beforehand, to what specific point in time are you referring?
Well, clearly,
I shall have to penalise the defence heavily for this irrelevant rambling.
oh, we'll see about that. Lol. Okay, there's another entrance. Or he was put there after he died. Okay, there was another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection.
I wondered what that new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other only has windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection.
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. No, Zan wishes he could time travel with this little consequence.
Oh, really?
To be fair, Zan from Tactical Breach Wizards doesn't technically time travel, he just sees the future. Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. The skylight. Icky. The omnibus had a butt flap. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin.
Alright, Counsel. The defence will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin?
Ding. Wrong button. Ding.
Take that.
The answer's obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight?
Oh, what? That makes sense, actually.
Objection.
Because it was a loud thump.
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection.
The skylight may be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection.
so you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory?
Both Miss McGill and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has, but
Would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Mr. Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. Nellis, why didn't they ask Beppo about when Mason got onto the carriage? That's a very good point. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Eh? 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh yeah, because at least one of them owed money. Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof.
You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were?
Oh.
Just what are you insinuating here, you blitherer?
You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said. And so will I.
Mr. Fairplay?
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman, well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter,
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. Yes, I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel.
Order, order, order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defence that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victims fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. Intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
Nolas, first would probably make a better horse than a hatter. I know it's rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify.
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or the other.
There is filth and rubbish I missed. We must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo?
The spectators of the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First.
My lord.
You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defence.
Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this.
There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward.
Here we go.
Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that. If it had happened while we were sitting, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed?
Notice. Indictment.
Oh yeah.
I know the word, but reading is hard. Icky, maybe think a little bit. Maybe a little bit as a treat.
If anything had happened there when we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I must say that when listening to this testimony is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act upon this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you.
Although logically, of course, the argument falls down to if the two of you are in collusion with one another.
What? Eh? According to investigations by Scotland Yard.
Notice, would the witness please refrain from twerking on the stand?
The witnesses share no common dealings. Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich.
Okay, maybe this guy's not so bad apart from the whole scary knife usage.
Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favour, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defence, open to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. Okay, I need a stretch. Okay.
Hold it!
So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck?
Absolutely not. Dickon.
No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. Thanks to the hydrate, no less. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here.
Is this true, Mr. McGilded?
Dear my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately.
That's an outright lie. Without doubt you're engaged in...
Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all?
Ugh.
Nullis, you always forget about redeems when it's not a game with a boss fights in it. Fair enough. Yeah, there's all sorts of neat redeems. You can force me to cast in binary if you like. 'Tis all about evidence in courts these days, so it is. You'd do well to remember that. I saw you, with my own eyes. This is going so well. If anything had happened when we were sitting, do you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus bus, past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of lark? Is this some kind of joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. Icky. Our omnibus. You want to see a fish bush? That'd be like kind of a My Neighbor Totoro thing. Totoro, rather. I'll give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bit of cold. If you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, it was a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. It is hardly surprising. Seeing things. I believe we've reached an impasse here on this particular point. You. Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then 'tis only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what capitalist society is all about. Why are we defending this man again? This isn't really a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. Except that you owed money to the same guy. So you'd never met Miss Free-Fired Mason before? Oh, LeMay, no. Not once. Never. You'd never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either. That's right, sir. Hatters don't much do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. Even to sell them hats. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection.
No. Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded. Yes, Cancel. What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now? Mr. Fairplay, this has been too long, so it has. Hey? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date? Well, I beg your pardon? You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another? And young Mr. First? Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do best be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about your head? Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, yeah, well, I'm still an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers? Such as Bryce-Fried Mason? There's a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence for, my lord.
Oh, yeah, yes, this you mean?
I can't help thinking the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh, this is awkward. Oh. That's one of my hats. Heh, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. A sort of customer I'd wager you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here have the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilton has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please don't let me a little interruption hold up the proceedings. Achievement. Okay, I got an achievement for realising that he was responsible for the hat.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That skylight was shut the entire time. I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look at it for yourself. Go on. You see, it's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. It is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could quite likely break through it and still know. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Now you hold on a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happened.
This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First.
Oh, I just meant to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did.
Are you expecting me to sentence you?
Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame. Oh yeah, they don't open. They only open from the front. Sorry, they don't open from the inside.
Excuse me.
She's got the cat smile. Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade? It opens. Huh? The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from the inside, you mug. Oh. Now I'm just realising I've basically given them both the same voice. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And he had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out of my ears.
Mr. Stroud, this is not a forum to be eulogising on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the catch and jumped right through.
What?
Yeah, the catch from skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from a cabin.
The skylight opens from the roof deck. Bailiff? Climb onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. Oh? Oh, my hat. See? Seriously, why should she allow us to be holding that? Order, order, order! So, it appears the street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opened. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo, this could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. No, Liz, she's got good trigger discipline. So the skylight was fastened shut before, but now the catch has been undone, we should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yep, and there's the lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. And that's not good for us. Okay, let's have a look inside. Oh. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Ah! What is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's without question. It's blood. Why'd there be a blood stain in there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Okay. I guess we're still not going to bring up the fact it's clearly been switched out, but... Take this. On the night in question, the victim was fatally shot in the stomach. Sorry, fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof, here in this courtroom. At this time of year. Wait, irrefutable proof. At this time of year, in this part of the country, confined entirely into this courtroom. Can I see it? Okay. Counsel? My lord? I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is its evidence to which you allude? You'll point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Okay, oh yeah, we need to press Y. Keeps throwing me off. Why, Jupiter? Is that blood? This blood stain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No.
So to be fair, it's entirely possible he fell from like a roof or something, or like a window, and they didn't have anything to do with it. Order, order, order.
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot in the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Won't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It is all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height, right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all... lies.
Hold it!
My fellow jury members. I think we can all agree this is clear proof to the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew the nice gentleman who gave us all that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2...
Is it gonna... 3. Is it gonna turn out he was actually guilty?
A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, lad? Well, sorry, there now, Lord Van Zeeks. A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void.
What? Why?
For one extremely simple reason. The autopsy report has been updated. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What? What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute certainty, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began.
But...
are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was... fabrication, my lord, yes. And while this court has been in session.
What? What a palaver. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Von Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all of this capital for his fine contributions to public life. Exactly, Nihilus. Bad news, Von Zeeks. We updated the carriage report. I don't take kindly to this slander, and I'll fight to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGilded, I realise that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature.
So, what's going to happen here? Is it going to turn out he was completely... Oh! Apparently I've received gifts on throne. Ooh. Someone's sent me a load of whisper bars. Icky, chompical lads. Okay. Oh, thank you, Icky. Super appreciated. Okay, that's weird. I thought I'd have changed it to payout, but for some reason it's saying it's going to be ordered automatically. I'll have to double check and check that. Heck yeah, thank you, Icky. Notice the ding went up on the stream right after the jury changed their vote.
You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty.
Thank you, Icky.
And each time it happens, that's a case you're involved in is investigate. Yet, you adapt the facts.
Adapt the facts? What does that even mean?
When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it might be, nothing is impossible.
Oh yeah, to be fair, I updated my address, so it should be sent to me.
Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir.
Tut tut, Lord Van Zeeks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now cancel? No. Okay, so this guy's actually going to be guilty as hell. I think this does sound all like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you will cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood on it without the warden and his wife's in? Isn't that right now, counsel? It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session.
My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words.
As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think... yeah, I'll have to be honest and say it could have been. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can, but still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. Oh, is the twist going to be that our client is guilty as hell, but we still get the placement because of our honesty? There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh?
Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit.
Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take as a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Like, seriously, why isn't she in a cell right now? What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
I hereby call an emergency recess. Sorry for exposing my unpainted ear there. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. Exactly. Why wasn't Suzaku covering her face? All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless Googer? Feckless Googer? You're supposed to be defending me. It is a wicked plot. It is a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus.
Inconsistencies? Such as? One, gouger. I thought that's what I said.
To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seats. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, with the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I've said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning.
Unfortunately, Lord Van Zeek, no one is able to corroborate your claims. And that's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty. Nightbot, what's Talia done to you? If this evidence is the result of tampering or not.
Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things.
What do you think? Sorry. About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling. My lord? Yes, counsel? There's one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could have not been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare betray me, you little maggot, you'd be so best you start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGildet. The court awaits the defense's clarification.
Ugh. This trial keeps swinging one way or the other. Sorry, one way and then the other. I have no idea what's truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? That definitely wasn't there before.
Got it!
If we consider the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel.
Well said. Although, as advocate for the defence, one might say that it was a very careless slip of the tongue.
I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. I'm going to assume he still gets the job because, you know, there's another 2 cases. Ugh. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded, I've done everything I possibly could to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell you. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. 'Tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. Well, and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it's been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I have no idea what's happening to his voice now. In my defense, my throat's getting a bit sore. I'm scandalized, so I am. I'd thought better of Lord Von Zeke's. Well, my lord. Or maybe, the original carriage was fake, but so they switched to the real one. That'd be funnier. I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defence first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defence, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defence believes. Okay, what's the right answer here? Okay, I think there's a line earlier about always believing in the defendant's innocence, so let's stay on theme. As Mr. McGilded's legal representative, I can't breathe. The air in here is stifling, but I'm this man's defense lawyer. There's only one thing I can say in this situation. I believe the defendant, Magnus McGilded, is innocent of the allegations brought against him. Thank you, counsel. Here's to you, my Nipponese friend, and the most abject closing I could have yet to hear in the court of law. Order! Order! Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. You've saved one of London's most influential gentlemen, fella. You should be proud of yourself. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella. Some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honourable gentleman so succinctly put before. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Yeah, he's guilty as hell.
I don't really know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said.
The stinking rich are always guilty of something. Mark my words.
I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park.
Now the proceedings have unfolded in this way. I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea.
Thank you kindly, my lord.
I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain on the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth.
Lord Van Zieks?
My lord.
The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place.
Wow, an Ace Attorney game where the prosecution's getting digged at constantly.
My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zieks ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution can't shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. What?
Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella,
I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this all been a grand waste of time?
'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Is that foreshadowing?
Magnus McGilded.
Good grief, you more to say to me, have you?
Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over.
Well, something to be looking forward to then.
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded,
not guilty. Well, that's nowhere near as fun as the third case of any of the other previous games. Considering he appears to be guilty of something. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are we talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. A sneaky bit of TASMR there. Thank you, Icky. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict, and my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us.
th of February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendants antechamber.
Icky. Nanny? That certainly was a long trial.
Yeah, it was.
Your first ever trial in foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations.
And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened.
Well, we didn't have enough time.
But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that.
The sole aim of the defence is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. Okay, finally. At least we didn't have to actually prove we did it. You carried out your duty to perfection.
Aye, that you did. Mr. McGill did. Oh, and that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true.
Oh, what stories?
About the 6 enormous fireworks that do be letting off when there's a verdict and not guilty.
I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd heard it was a sight to behold, but to be sure it was. And I've got you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything.
What enough you saying, fella? How'd I walk out of there a free man then?
I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning.
You're a straight-talking fella, ain't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. 'Tis water under the bridge. I wonder if there's an outcome where he's found guilty. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared.
But nothing's resolved.
There's only one thing that matters to me.
Oh?
Eh? They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not?
I suppose it is.
Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. Will they though? Will they? I've absolute faith in them, so I have, after all. I do be proving a good number of their wages with the tax, provided a good number of the wages with all the taxes I pay. Okay, at least he isn't a tax evader, I guess. Yeah, it's not that funny. Well, a tax avoider. Well, a wealthy tax evader, anyway. So then. As we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much.
I'll be whist. You're humble people, are you? Are you from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this. Still in all, you deserve a reward.
Mr. Angus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. They asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. It was an absolute pleasure meeting yous. Hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. How do you know about that? And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Oh, and off she goes.
don't move. Whereas I want to say, guess a move on. She really just take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry. And I eat all the grown-ups. Oh, that's one way to become an orphan, I guess. Do I want an answer, Nurlis? Oh, did I want an answer about answering guilty? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, there you are. Oh, there you are. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? I'm taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Huh. But... what is going on here? Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Notice this is actually the longest the miracle never happened in the history of the... oh, nothing changes. Okay. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull. Don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty colour, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fit it with a telegraphic beacon. Tell her what's it what? I have no idea what this girl's talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologise, of course, silly, to my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Okay, that was some serious twists. Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you see? I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what you wanted to not get shot by that massive gun of yours. Well, I'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. So sorry for all the fuss. Why is there a small steampunk girl with a grenade launcher? Sorry, a missile launcher? She was a lively one. Well, what do you think? Perhaps we ought to be on our way now too. Yes, you're right, but where to? We still haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. Icky, because it wouldn't have been the same with a missile launcher. Hey. All our travelling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings. But this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we might be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to the worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it might be a little chilly at this time of year, but... our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGelder down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room, or a mansion. And so, The trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over.
Well then, what we at? 2 hours 35 minutes. Ooh, cutscene.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water!
Oh.
Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Oh dear.
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
This can't be.
Guess someone's interrupted Frollo's singing. Achievement unlocked, Round of the Reaper, for completing episode 3. Exactly, Nellis. Nobody could have seen this coming with all those pyrotechnics. Right. This is probably a logical place to end. But it's only, what, 2.5 hours? Do I want to continue? Okay, so there's another 2 cases. Notice, and torches. So many bizarrely aerodynamic torches. It's true. Yeah, I guess we might as well call it here. I mean, it's Lancer tomorrow, so I should probably save my voice a bit. I mean, plus side, I'm not at work, so I can do what I want. So yeah, we'll call it here. I think 2.5 hours is perfectly fine for a screen. She attempts to persuade herself. Exit game. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be on Keith's channel. Give him a shout out before I do anything else. Oop. Helps if you type someone's name properly. So that's over on KNSD. And that'll be Lancer. I'll of course be playing my character, who's a hacker. Well, like a criminal hacker who's basically on the entire team as part of her punishment. But of course she has other things planned. Oh yeah. Switch to the big view. So yeah, hopefully you'll all be able to drop by and see that. Let's see who's live. Okay, basically everyone's live. Okay, so Goblin Hellion's doing some art. The Bunyip Man's doing Planet Zoo. Dash Ducks is of course there. Okay, I guess it's probably between either Goblin Hellion or Bunyip Man. So, I guess if I roll an odd number, Gobbo, even, I'll raid the Bunyip Man. Oh, and I didn't quite paint my neck properly. But yeah, that's Goblin Hellion, so if I adjusted the my webcam just slightly, you could probably see the dice tray.
Pennion's a very hard word to spell. Anyways, yep, so tomorrow I'll be on Keith's channel. Friday I'll be on Nick's channel. Sunday, provisionally, I might be streaming some more Baldur's Gate with Enfys again. So that'll be fun. Notice the dice trays on screen, but yeah, you can't quite see the dice at this angle. Like, I reckon if I raised the webcam up a bit and pointed it down, you could probably see the number I rolled. But yeah, I need to sort of work on styling this wig properly. But yeah, in summary, tomorrow Lancer, Friday Mobius Command, which is Savage Worlds, and Sunday Baldur's Gate 3, which is video game. So yeah, we're going to raid in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe. You're still my favourites. Oh yeah, and post your favourite colour of tiefling or something in the chat. Not chat, comments.